So, you just started using LinkedIn Premium. Now what? Well, on your premium company page, you noticed around 7.5 times more page engagement and 5 times more page views. Well done. And now, new clients are messaging you. All because you're using LinkedIn Premium, which helps you get the business growth you want. Think big, small business. Think big. Start your free trial at linkedin.com/premium small business. That's linkedin.com/premium small business.
All right, here we go.
New Phineas and Ferb is here.
We're back, baby.
For 104 more days
I know what we're gonna do today.
of summer vacation.
I am ready for summer shenanigans.
Let's do it. Oh, yeah.
All right. We're gonna bust Phineas and Ferb once and for all.
Are we gonna do this again?
New inventions, shenanigans, innators, adventures, and songs.
Brand new summer vacation.
New Phineas and Ferb, now available on Disney Channel and on Disney Plus, on disneyplus.disney.com.
Hello, this is Cathy, and this is the Cinemile, the podcast where my husband Dave and I record our walk home from the movies. But I'm not recording a walk home from the movie. I am hosting my own spin-off show where I'm reviewing, and just like that, every Saturday, because I just can't help myself. And today I have special guests Chantel and Grania from the Way They Were podcast, comedians and podcast hosts. Hello, ladies. Welcome.
Hi.
Do you gwitch, Cathy?
Oh, do you guys?
Grania had to get in there. Thank you so much for having us on, Cathy. If you ever need anyone to come talk about anything in the Sex and the City universe, you have found the right girls for it. We're so excited to be here.
Thank you. This is perfect timing because I listened to the guys' podcast, even though we hadn't spoken before this week, because I've been like a sneaky listener. And then in my feed popped this week that you guys did like the top Sex and the City breakups, which is such a good idea for an episode. And I was like, oh my God, I've a reason to contact them, invite them on the show. Really excited to have you here. We had a really good reaction to the episode last week because it's a new thing we're trying. So thank you everyone who kind of messaged and commented about the episode last week. A lot of talk about Aiden. I would say 99% Aiden chatter.
There was a lot.
A lot.
Truck scene alone. We talked 45 minutes just on the truck scene. Just on the hands, to be honest. Yeah.
And what's really fun about this is Chantel has been watching and just like that since season 1. Grania has never watched it. So while she's an avid Sex and the City fan like us all, she's coming in hot or cold, depending how you look at it, on this episode. So Grania, how did you feel coming in sight unseen?
I was really, really scared because I loved Sex and the City. I absolutely loved it. I've watched every episode only 3 times. So I was really nervous about, like, it's a bit like, you know, you've got a favourite book and then they make it into a film and you're like, oh God, it's like going to ruin it now. So I was really scared and I thought, I'm going to see what people say before I decide to commit. And then I heard what people said and I thought, you know what? I might wait. So I've been following it from podcasts and recaps, so I can kind of know what the girls are up to. But today's episode was the first one that I saw with my own little eyes.
Wow.
And what are your immediate thoughts, Grania?
Is Aiden CGI? I was thinking,
the whole show CGI?
Is it like, you know, Star Wars where they kind of put like actors and Carrie was actually looking at, you know, somebody with a tennis ball on their head? There's
a lot. It's hard to come back. Like, have you watched the movies? Because I feel like the movies got us here. Do you know? They were like the segue between quality and then where we've landed up now.
Yeah, I agree.
I did watch. I really enjoyed the first one. I thought it was fab. Second one, it was interesting in a camp way. It was enjoyable. This was strange.
The first movie, when I saw it, I nearly cried. Like, I left the cinema and I was like, can't believe what they've done, but it's okay. But I was really upset. Like, I was saying wounded. And then the second movie, I was like, I just can't believe what they've done to us. And I was like really, really angry. And then I am doing a podcast about it and just like that.
We can't resist. We just can't resist. We have to stand all of it. We can't resist. I'm with you. I didn't hate the movie. I knew it wasn't good, but I didn't care. The way Grania feels about the second film is how I feel about everything after the season, really. After the series, I should say. It all just kind of is camp and silly and kind of dumb. But I remember the first movie, like being in the cinema watching it and all the women like cheering the minute the music started. Like, oh my God. And it was just like exciting. But I mean, it was a complete pile of crap, kind of. But then when the second film came out, the first one looked like the fucking Godfather.
Exactly.
Like a masterpiece.
And I've been trying to explain to...
now with the series, with Just Like That, they both look like Showa. Like they both, there's like these incredible
Exactly.
films. And because the series is, it's funny, Grania, that you think this episode was strange. Because I would say, Cathy, you've seen all of And Just Like That, much like myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is probably one of the best episodes of And Just Like That, probably ever. And that's the
sad.
level we're at, Grania. That this is like top tier.
It's interesting
I
because we'll
was
get
like
to the
smiling
episode.
throughout.
I actually disagree. I thought it was one of the worst episodes ever, but we'll get to it. But on your point about, this being, the movie seeming like The Godfather, the first one, I've been trying to explain to Dave like the reaction we've had in our inbox on our socials since the episode last week, which honestly is quite unprecedented for a movie podcast. And I'm saying, okay, so like think about it this way. Sex and the City is our Star Wars, it's our Lord of the Rings, right? It's our Super Bowl. It's everything that you can think of. Is that Sex and the City was that for us? Like that moment in the cinema was just, before we saw the movie, was so good. And I was like, with Aiden, what he needs to understand is like, it's like if you went from Han Solo to Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah.
It's the only way I can describe what's happened, Aiden. And specifically to your point, Grania, about him, is he CGI? That reminded me of the Jar Jar Binks conversation. So and now he's like, oh, okay, I get it. And then I showed him the video of Aiden nicking his hand. He's like, oh my God, I really get it now. But anyway, we do need to get to this episode.
Yes,
so
let's do
it's
it.
interesting. So Chantel, you think it's one of the better ones. Grania, you probably don't know what to make of it. In an overarching sense, at the end of last week, I thought we're kind of maybe getting to a better place. And then I felt really down on this episode. I just felt like so much was happening.
I thought last week was psychotic. I remember I was watching it by myself and I was like, have I been drinking and I forgot that am I drunk? Because it was just ridiculous. Like it was to me, it felt like a Mad Libs episode. Like every 3 minutes they got a new director and it said, hey, play with this scene. And then someone else put it all together and then someone else wrote it and someone else acted. It was just I thought it was just a complete, just unhinged mess. Loved it, watched it 3 times, but thought it was an absolute just nightmare almost. So in comparison, I thought this felt more, compared to last week especially, more like old-fashioned Sex in the City. I was like, oh my God, it's Carrie's out having a cocktail with a girl and someone's going on dates and Miranda's trying. It just felt like a proper episode, but as much as we can get.
For me, it felt like an episode of the Sex and the City that you had, like you dreamt, and then you were trying to describe in your dream what happened.
There is that, yeah.
And
I
nothing
know what you
sort
mean.
of made any sense. It kind of mixture of like a dream and, the film The Room, where like it doesn't, everybody, it's just, anyway, we'll get into it.
I see what you're saying about The Room, because one of the things we kind of touched on last week, and Rosemary, my guest, was saying the acting's gotten so bad that some of it is a bit roomish. Now, like I would love to go to one of those screenings of The Room where everyone like throws cutlery at the screen. Yeah. And I feel like they could do that on Just Like That and it wouldn't feel out of place.
Yeah.
I agree.
And we could maybe enjoy ourselves a bit, like have a cocktail while we're at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's interesting as well on the, like, when we get to the character things, because like Carrie is just, I think we always need to start with Carrie, but from now on this mini series, I am doing an Aiden watch because I think we need to keep an eye on Aiden now because he's getting toxic. He's getting real toxic.
Yeah.
And I think if we start with kind of Carrie and where she was in this episode, like she's in the bar with the girl who's bought her a flat.
Lizette.
Yeah.
Thank you. And they kind of immediately segue, into this like terrible, where the girl goes, being single must have been so much easier before you had phones. And it's like, no one talks like that.
Nobody talks like that.
And that kind of ended up being the way the episodes used to be themed. I think this was supposed to kick off the fact that Carrie's like a romantasy writer now, and it's kind of sprung this idea in her head of writing in the past. But it was so forced.
I was trying to find all the other phone through lines in it, because I was like, Lizette has the issue with to her phone. Then Carrie is endlessly struggling about texting Aiden on his phone. Mm-hmm. Charlotte briefly mentions that she's messaged that Ivy League person too much, like in one scene with Anthony. Miranda, I guess you could argue, watched a show on her phone. So I'm really reaching to try and make this a through line. And
You're doing hard work here.
And Seema possesses a phone. That's like the best I could do. The through line didn't really happen for me. I tried though.
I really admire the effort there.
Thank
I
you.
would say there's no through line, and I think it's the biggest thing lacking. Like you miss the column where every week she'd have summarize and have a theme, and now the theme is just Carrie. So writing
now
in the
I
third
suppose
person.
that novel is meant to be the new column. The novel she's writing is meant to be the new voiceover.
But it's basically, it felt like the old voiceover, but every now and then she'd say, so she stood up in her corset and took out her parasol.
Yeah,
and you
it's
go,
so
oh,
unnecessary. Why does she have to live through this character in 1845? Why is Carrie suddenly obsessed with history? That's seriously new. Why can't she just be writing about... I don't get it. Why is she now writing historical fiction?
She looked at the newspaper and said, wow, if a country divided cannot stand, what about the Civil War in my own heart?
Oh my God.
If only it was as good as that.
It's so boring. That's the main thing. Like, I used to think I'd read her column, and now I'm like, I'm not going to read. It's supposed to be romantic. That's supposed to be like interesting and like of its time, where she just says things like she lifted up her petticoat. It's like, that's not making something historical. But what did we think about, to go back to the bar scene, because they're constantly trying to make Carrie's apartment a thing, a personality. Carrie now has a necklace with her apartment on it. I'm like, lads, give up. Stop talking about the apartment. What is this?
Can we discuss how ugly the necklace is? Like,
It's hideous.
It's like the dress in Pretty in Pink. I'm like, is it meant to be ugly, or are we meant? I still don't know if we're meant to like it. And then she puts a key on it. That's never. I don't know why she puts a key on it. Is she making that is that the key to her old apartment? Is it just a key she found? Why is the necklace so ugly? Why did it take her so long to realize that was her address? Oh, my address. Oh, you made this. God, catch up, Carrie. How's wrong with the gimlet? Jesus.
And like, if you're going to give something someone, I think you'd actually just give them the number off the door. You take that off, and then they can keep it somewhere. But you've actually broken that up. And also, she made some comment then that she'd spent all her money on this necklace. It's like, well, if you're going to make someone a gift they didn't ask for, you can't then talk about how much money you spent.
I know.
It's not appropriate.
And if you're worried about money, maybe stop throwing your phone around bars like that. Jesus, come on, think ahead.
But what I found really, remember, this is my first meeting with Carrie for whenever the second film came out. Mm-hmm. And she does this thing, this really annoying Carrie thing where she's like, she goes into a bar and she's like, like head down, eyes up, like Princess Diana, like, oh guys. And then she sits down and it looks like she hates that woman. She's so like, ugh. It was like this woman had paid to do a meet and greet with Sarah Jessica Parker. And she was like, okay, yeah, thanks for the cocktail.
It did feel a bit like that. Like, why are they meeting? Only to talk about the apartment again, and to have somebody say it must have been easier without phones back in the olden days, so that Carrie could go, yeah. And like, when Carrie, like, on the through line on the phone, why did she keep leaving Aidan? Who leaves voice to text messages when they're not driving? Why is she not leaving voice notes?
That's a really good point. I don't know why she's not just sending. I know this is such a boring conversation, but I know that WhatsApp isn't as big in America as it is here. But there's still voice notes on iMessage, and I don't know why she's not just. The voice to text thing felt like another callback to Carrie's a Luddite. Like, Carrie's not great with technology. So Carrie doesn't like texting, so she has to find a way. I mean, I'm surprised she's still got a fucking flip phone, because it's Carrie Bradshaw and she's not good with technology. And
that's true.
I presumed that. And also, I guess it was a way, I think it was just a way for the writers to get around having to show someone texting on their phone all the time. So you could have her. So that became another kind of version of a voiceover, kind of. I'm really reaching, guys. I'm trying really hard.
Yeah, but then she could have just been doing a voice note, but also we are obviously going too into the weeds there. But like, what did you think about, right? Because I am on Aidan Watch now and I'm on a high alert after last week. So she's messaging. She's like, I can't message him. Like, she feels very insecure. And this is where I think Aidan's so toxic. He shows up to her apartment unannounced. They've agreed they're not seeing each other for 5 years.
Doesn't even ring the doorbell. Just walks in.
Yeah, so creepy. And Grania, for your reference, and you've probably seen clips online about it, the last they spoke, they had very botched phone sex, right?
Yeah.
So he shows up, quite scary. Like, she shouts because someone's in her house touching her. Then he immediately picks her up and brings her into the bedroom. It's like, what are we doing here? Like,
did you not feel as well? I thought this is very women coded, but when I saw her in the closet before he turned up, she had that gorgeous like white dress on and her hair and makeup all done. And maybe this speaks to my priorities, but when he picked her up and they went to the bedroom, I was like, oh God, they're going to have sex. And that she's just has to do her hair again. Her makeup's perfect. Everything looks great. And I was just like, but she's going to be, I'd be like, no. I look so good. Can we just do it later?
She looks so good. She does look so good.
It was this whole episode, by the way, she looked great because recently I've noticed they've been dressing her as like fucking Prairie Home Companion or something, all these massive smock dresses. She's finally back in like proper nice fitted dresses. So it was nice to see her and wearing high heels inside for no reason. I was happy to see her looking good.
Yeah, I think she's looking amazing. But I think
when he kind of said I came in because there was a guy outside, like a service guy, it almost felt like he was kind of being like, so anyone could have come in, Carrie. I could be anyone.
Yeah, weird of the gardener to let him in. And then, like, the other thing I thought is, okay, he's shown up for one night only. That's a very controlling sign because he hasn't checked that she's free. She doesn't have plans. It's like he's checking up on her. I don't know, growing up, having not seen Aiden in a while, like, did you love Aiden back in the day? Were you an Aiden gal?
No. All the turquoise jewelry and the smugness. No. I thought he was so boring. I didn't like him at all. And I was very confused because, again, I'd been following, you know, from different podcasts. So I was like, they're doing this weird thing where they can't see each other for 4 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 5 years.
Five
So half
years.
a decade. Half a decade he's doing.
So he's moving to Virginia to be a dad of his adult child. So then I thought, oh, they must have got back together because why? It just seemed very casual. And I thought,
it was too casual.
Carrie should have more questions. Like, hang on a sec, does that mean? And then they had like that scene in the kitchen afterwards where she was being all sort of coy about like, oh, you know, the whole metaphor of the garden may look beautiful, but there could be rats.
Oh, that was like one of her columns.
To look under it.
Yeah, that was too heavy-handed. And then it's interesting, though, because she's like, can I call you? Can I text you in that kitchen scene? And then he says, and I've written this down because I was actually creeped out by it. He said, you can text me or call me if it's important.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
I
it's
didn't
like,
catch that, did
so
he?
she can only message you when it's important, but you can show up unannounced at her house and expect her to have sex with you? Okay, Aiden, I see you.
I see him. It's like,
what is going on? Do they think this is wrong? It's like they're in their 50s now. They should be making better relationship choices. I feel like Carrie in the original series would not be putting up with this.
oh God, no, this is not. There's a weird, I don't know about you, Cathy, but I've had to sort of, I mean, the whole show, I just kind of let kind of wash over me at this point. I'm not trying to think, I mean, I am obviously for this, but generally speaking, I'm just like, just whatever. I'm just watching it for a bit of fun. This isn't going to be life-changing the way the original was. But I am very aware, and I think I said this to Grania maybe whatever, that the actual Carrie Bradshaw from the series, if she met this Carrie Bradshaw, like she would run a mile. This woman has nothing to do with the Carrie Bradshaw from the original TV series. Like that Carrie would not put up with this bullshit. And also, like, there's more than just Aiden and Big. It's, oh, my husband dies. Oh, well, I'll go back to my boyfriend from 20 years ago.
It's so weird.
If any of my friends did that, I bet, oh, you're having a midlife crisis. We need to get you into therapy. Like, something's happening here.
And it's like big erasure.
For 5 years. This is absolutely nuts. You're having a bit of a nervy bee. And this one's like, oh, it's okay. We're just going to let it happen. It's just insane. I will say I do think Aiden looks kind of good, but I think it may be because he's CGI. So
he does, like, he looks good in this episode, but like last season he showed up in what was my dad's jacket, and I was like,
the barber. I can't now.
I've not been able.
The hair transplant is good. The fake tan is good. He's been working out. Like,
I didn't notice the hair transplant. Interesting.
Oh,
but like,
remember when he first was in the series? He always had that thinning hair. Now suddenly he's got a full head of thick hair.
See, this is why I need you on this. I didn't notice that, but what I did notice back on Aiden Watch, so Carrie's now leaving in more of her text to whatever, voice to text, and she's saying, we need furniture for our beautiful home. Will you help me pick this? I'm like, it's your home, Carrie. Well, he doesn't live there.
He's a furniture designer. How is he not like, I'll just make the fucking furniture for you?
And he doesn't live with her.
When she sent him a picture of the table, and his response was not, oh, I know that designer, I can get it at a discount, or that's really bad. He had zero. Isn't this your fucking job? You're in your 50s, 40 years of your life. 30 years has been doing this, and all you get is a thumbs down? This is his life. It's like if she asked Charlotte, what do you think of this painting? Thumbs down. Like, isn't this what you do?
I know.
How does he have no opinion? How is
but
he
he's a dad.
Table?
So this is what dads do. So I think...
I couldn't believe that it never came up that he's a furniture designer. Have they just forgotten that? That blew me away.
She said something like, you're wood and I'm this. But like, it's your house. Stop saying it's our house. She said it's our garden. It's just... And I think she's kind of said, look, they're kind of erasing Big from the show, which like in real life, I understand they want a distance from the actor, but I just don't think you can erase Big the way they're doing. Like, Aiden's always been the love of her life because he really wasn't. No. He was the fans' love. Yeah. Fans wanted her with Aiden, but Carrie didn't want to be with Aiden.
I totally agree.
It just doesn't make sense.
we can't say it enough. I think that we're all in agreement. Do we all think it'd be so much better if she just had someone new, just a new guy? It was several new guys.
Yes.
I just feel like, not to go too overarching before you get there, but I feel like so many problems with this show is that they're not doing what they did with the series, which is showing us something we don't see on TV. I've seen people on TV in a happy couple. I've seen the Charlotte thing of husband and wife with annoying teenagers. I've seen all that. I haven't seen women in their 50s who are single, aside from Seema, dating. That's what I want to fucking see. I want to see Carrie dating.
Yeah.
Why can't we see? Don't they
Show
get
us,
that's what we
like,
want?
Can we get to Adam Gardens? Because I'm very into that.
Very into Adam Gardens. I'm hopeful. Are you hopeful, Granny, about the
I
gardener
was
at the end?
until the bit where she goes, "Oh, I like your T-shirt. Where did you get it?" And he was like,
again.
I don't know you well enough to tell you the story of this T-shirt.
And then the story is it was my band in high school. I'd be like, okay, that's weird that you're clearly in your late 40s still wearing them. Let the dream go, pal.
This is
Let
why
it go.
It's The Room. We are watching the
And also-
female version of The Room.
That's another where it feels like Mad Libs. Like whoever wrote the line about the high school band didn't know about the line before where he said, "You have to wait till I know you to find out." I feel like it's the
Exactly.
separate writers.
They are.
But I was still happy with that. And I know we're fast forwarding a bit, but if we're just doing Carrie, it's only when I watched it a second time that I caught that she had just before that said, a relationship isn't about texting back and forth. A relationship is standing in front of someone and you say, "What do you think?" And they say, "What do you think?" And that's precisely what her and Adam Gardner said to each other.
Oh, and then she said what? And then he said, "What was meant to be has the space to show up."
Now has the space to show up. Yeah. So
Now,
I was like, finally dump Aiden. But I'm worried that, I don't know about you guys, but I think she'll be dumping Aiden this whole fucking season.
I think she's just. I cannot put into words what's happening with her and Aiden because I don't understand it. I hope that's her arc. I
She is
want her to
unhappy
hook up
with
with Adam.
Like, I think that we are being told by the show she's unhappy. The first episode, she wasn't happy. She is like, she's not happy with this relationship. So they are signaling that they're breaking up. I just want them to get on with it and
Are they
break up
trolling
and then-
us? Like, I can't. I know they're Aiden baiting us, and I think that they don't have much left. I know I heard you saying in your Sex and the City episode that you reckon Trey Parker might come back at some point, which I would love. Or Troy. No, what was his
Trey
name again?
McDougal.
Sorry, Trey Parker is South Park. What am I saying?
I know,
Troy
I was like,
McDougal.
bring him on. That'd be great.
Kyle MacLachlan. I heard you saying that, and I was like, that's the first time I've heard that rumor, and I loved it. But then I thought, no, because they ruin people when they bring them back.
Yeah.
They
I would
need
love
to be
if they-
original.
I think, like we were saying, it'd be great if they bumped into him and just had a quick, like, 5-minute cameo to find out
Yeah.
what he's up to. But
I
yeah,
would
I
love
don't
that.
want him back on the scene romancing fucking Charlotte again. No.
No, absolutely not.
Bring us
However, if
new
he
people.
romanced Seema, or if he, I don't know, they could bring him in a different way. But let's get to kind of the. This is how bad I think this episode was. Like, basically, the secondary plot of this was Lisa and Charlotte, who have a combined plot this episode, so I'm going to discuss them at the same time, trying to get their children to meet with, like, an Ivy League.
All I wrote down was,
Whisperer.
I don't care. I don't care about the Ivy League. I do not care about fucking Lily. I don't give a shit about Lily or her ballet boyfriend. I don't give a fuck about any of this. Sorry, I'm sorry. I hope I can curse. I do not care about any of this fucking plot line. And this is precisely what I meant when I said how I have seen this a million times. There's 1,000 shows and movies about parents and their teenage bratty children and trying to get them to the good school and the kids. Who gives? I don't care.
Yeah, and it's interesting, Grania, because what you've missed here is Lisa is actually a very accomplished director.
Yes.
She makes documentaries. She's like shining a spotlight on black artists. She's really interesting, accomplished woman. Would you have guessed any of that from this episode?
The whole thing, I found it just so tonally so confusing because it was like a CITV / Nickelodeon comedy. This bit, like the acting was so broad, you could almost imagine like beep, 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 music playing in the background. It didn't make any logical sense. So we're supposed to believe they have, and they figured, oh, brilliant, we've got a meeting now with this person who will help our kids get into university. We must now immediately track down our children right now to tell them the news. Not like tell them later or maybe get Carrie to send them a voice note text. We need to. So it's like Charlotte and her daughter was just, why was she kissing a ballet dancer on the stairs.
On the staircase. I wrote that down. And he said, you ruined the vibe, Mom. Everyone walking by ruined the vibe, Lily. You fucking weirdo.
But
Why
how
are you
sad for
on
us, though, that Lily kissing this teenager is like the hottest thing that happened this episode. Do you know what I mean? Like, that is the sexiest thing that happened this episode, and it was two teenagers kissing in a stairwell.
Yeah.
When you
Like,
say
this
the
is where we're
tone was
at.
weird, Grania, do you find what it reminded me of? I realized that watching it. It reminded me of like Netflix Christmas movies. Those ridiculous Netflix that we all know, and you can predict, because everything that happened in this, I could see a mile away. When Seema met the matchmaker, I was like, that's not going to be a girl, it's going to be a matchmaker.
Yeah.
When the guy left her on the date and the matchmaker turned up, I was like, the guy's already left, he's not going to be there. Seema's going to tell her off. She's every single thing you could project a mile away, you could see. And it was just like those Netflix Christmas movies that we kind of all love to have on in the background, but this should be better than the Netflix Christmas movie you have on in the background.
Like when Lisa ran out to the baseball field and she's like, whoa. I'm like, she's making a documentary for like PBS.
I know.
And
it's nuts.
Charlotte's like, assistant changes Charlotte's Instagram page to be a bottle of wine, and they say women love wine.
Women love that. Who wrote that?
On. Yes, I like wine. Will I accept an Instagram invite from a profile picture of wine? Like, absolutely not. What is happening?
When they said that, I thought I misheard it. When I watched it the second time, I was like, no, they said that. They said that women love that. Women love what? Photos of wine? What are you talking about?
And the scenes went so quickly in this episode. It was very jarring. Like, there's that scene, and then it immediately cut to Lisa in the edit booth answering Charlotte. Then it immediately cuts to Little League game. It's like,
yep.
What? I feel like they cut a lot out of this episode. I haven't listened to the official podcast this week, Writer's Room, which I will do because I want to hear how they justify these decisions. Have you?
They're so proud of themselves.
That's the thing.
It's nuts hearing them. Like, they're taking this like, oh God, that line we wrote, wasn't that just how droll? Like, they're just so proud of themselves. They think they're just making it's nuts to hear the bits they talk about and like how we thought of that line on the cuff. Like, yeah, guys, we can fucking tell you thought of that on the cuff. Like, we can tell there was no real editing here.
Okay, I like hearing their perspective, and I often love an official podcast. Like, say, The Last of Us one is brilliant with Craig Mason, but this one's like, okay, are we talking about different shows?
Yeah,
but I
I've
do
never
find the
listened to it
perspective
before,
interesting.
but it's nuts. And just very quickly on Charlotte, what are your thoughts on Charlotte Garner? Because I know you were a big, not necessarily a big Charlotte fan, but you identified with Charlotte. You loved Charlotte. Seeing what she has become, what are your thoughts?
It genuinely was like she had had a blunt trauma to the head, and the little Italian guy was her carer, and she was very happy, very, very happy. But, you know, she just had her little routines, and then he brought her to a cafe and was like, somebody's stolen your idea. And he went, no, Charlotte, this is my cafe.
Oh my God,
and
she's
she
so
went,
right.
It was like she was like someone's like mom going through like dementia. You are right.
It was interesting, and
that, but it was.
You're right, because that was so weird to me, because I thought Anthony had a bakery last season, so I was like, I don't know
That's
what's
what I
happening.
thought.
Yeah,
I thought the same thing. I wrote that down. Like, didn't he have a bakery? Why is this new? The whole they did. I think they put that just to have the line "Dick and Mortar," which is so Michael Patrick King.
Yeah, I liked that line.
I swear he was at a bakery last season.
And why did he
That
make
was
a
confusing.
crotch? Why did he say crotch level counter again?
I thought
What
there
was
were
that?
a few jokes in there that I was like, there were a few jokes that worked when he said the bit about, contrary to what, you know, gays think, actually construction workers being hot is not a thing. That was like,
funny.
fun. And the crotch height counters, the whole thing is being hot guys are serving you so you can see their package. I thought, okay, I thought the Anthony bits were actually kind of the highlight, because at least he was still the Anthony we knew.
Anthony's a bit of fun.
Charlotte, very quickly, can you give me 90 seconds on Charlotte?
Please, I beg you, give us Charlotte.
I think what's happened with Charlotte is, I think from the very beginning of the whole series, I think if we're all being very honest, she's fine, but Kristen Davis was always the weakest acting-wise of the four. I think we can all agree with that. And I think in the very beginning of the show, she herself, the actress, has said it was obvious they didn't really quite know what to do with Charlotte. The other characters seemed very well-rounded, and it took them a while to work out quite who Charlotte was. However, I think by the end of the series, she was there. I loved her. But I think as an actress, she wasn't getting a lot of work outside of this. And by the time, and I think they lost track of what to do with her once she got married and had kids. And even by the movies, her acting was getting worse, and the writing for her was also becoming more and more less nuanced. And it's gotten to the point now where I feel like her character is just a shrill, just a squeal, just going, ah! That's her entire character. Is big eyes and screaming. That's all she's left to her. And meanwhile, her acting is now truly dreadful. And those two things combined, she's a bad character. They're not really writing that well. She's a horrible actress now. And I think they've kind of reduced her to just, walking and screaming, making big eyes. Even in the episode, the principal says, the Charlotte big eyes. And it was like, that's all she fucking does anymore.
It's so unfair on her.
Her quick little walking thing she does, like every single skirt is too short. That's all she can do, and it's just it's not good. And I
think you're right, because it's not fair, because she, like, I think for me she did always work in the original series, but it's so unfair to be written this poorly, and I have to say directed this poorly, because like she can be. Like, I'm sure she could turn in better performance. Like, the scene at the end where she's hyperventilating with Lily and they're all pretending to hyperventilate.
Yes,
like, that was like farce.
I agree. There was one, I totally agree with you. That bit at the end when she was trying to talk like that. And I was like, okay, that was good. That was a good performance. And I was with you. I think when you mentioned the acting earlier on, I was like, should we be blaming the director more than we are?
I think we should, because I agree with you. She's not worked as much, but like, I keep going back and it's like, it's some sort of like punishment I do to myself. I just go back and watch random episodes of Sex and the City. I was watching season 3, episode 1 the other day, and which I love. And I was like, Charlotte is better than I remember her being.
Yes, she is. She was good back then.
So I don't blame her.
She was good.
She's very good. She does this thing which is very hard to do, of doing like grounded big. And I think she's like, I think she's a really good comedy actor. She's not going to, I think that sort of being able to give sort of big reactions, but in a way that feels really authentic. She used to be really good at that. But
all she does now is shrink.
All she does was like, the doorknobs are like baguettes.
I know. It's like she's like a crazy old woman. She used to also be, not to keep going on and I'll stop, but she used to also be like really good at being kind of like sexy.
She used to be very
kind
sexy.
of deep voice and like, oh, I can do that, don't you?
Yeah.
And she kind of had these like, bedroom eyes, and she could be really hot. Remember, she was the one all the boys fancied, if we remember. Every straight man fancied Charlotte. There was no way anyone fancies that Charlotte. They would just want to put her in a home. She seems fucking mental.
Yeah, you're right. Like, the thing is, it's funny as well, because Charlotte was always having sex. She just was the one saying she wanted to get married, but like, you didn't see him growing in this episode, but like, you need to watch, because you need to see Harry, because Harry is now the same as Charlotte. They are the same, falling over, tripping over, like practically slipping on banana skins.
It's like Mr. Bean and Mr. Bean's wife.
It's nuts.
And both their kids are just I hope their building blows up or something. I don't know. Something. I just want them off my screen. I can't. She's not. If she wasn't there for 3 episodes, I honestly don't think any of us would even notice.
No,
just
and
put it that way.
My pitch is that they actually cut her and she just shows up for the odd brunch. But onto the back. Finally, we have 2 dating characters in this episode. So we have Seema and we have Miranda. Did you think, we start with Seema first, who I do love. I really do love Seema.
Same.
But I think she's getting shortchanged. So basically what we saw at the end of the last episode, Gráinne, was that Seema and her boyfriend broke up. And Seema's always been, she's essentially the Samantha substitute, but I think the actress brings enough that she feels different. Like, I agree. She's cool. But the thing with this is, like, did you think when Seema said to Carrie, there's 5 men and I've dated them all? And then it cut to her dating the 5 men, which was quite funny. But I felt like, is this a flashback? We've never seen a flashback before.
It kind of I thought it was kind of a callback to when Samantha was banging that guy and then realized, oh my God, I've had sex with you before. And then the whole episode was Samantha thinking, I've had sex with everyone in New York.
That's true.
It felt like but I doubt it was a callback, because I don't think the writers remember the show as well as us fans do.
Also, they all hate Kim Cattrall.
I think I'm giving them too much credit by saying that. But I know what you mean. I thought it was good. It was fun, reminded me of old school Sex and the City, having her show all the men and going through them all.
She said, I'm hate dating. And she's like, I know, you're not really divorced. You're going to decide to get back with your wife 10 minutes after you told me you love me. And I did enjoy the juxtaposition when then it cut to her and the woman who trains people to date. And she was saying, I know what you're going to do. I know what you're going to do. So she sat in the reverse situation.
Yeah, but I thought it was good. What did you think, Gráinne? I thought that was one of the stronger plot lines of this.
I thought she was
show.
And it was still weak.
I liked the character. I thought she was very charismatic. She was very watchable. Okay, I'm going to be I just found it just felt a bit sweaty, that bit. I just felt like when she was going through, like, a bit sweaty, a bit like when she was saying, you're going to be like this and you're going to say that. It just felt a bit like, ugh.
It still felt, I think we have to preface everything by it's still bad, Grania. We know. We're just trying to find. No one's saying it's good. We're just trying to find the time. We're trying to sprinkle some glitter on some shit here.
Yeah.
I think it reminds me of like you wanted Sex and the City and then you got that in TK Maxx.
Yeah.
What do you mean
Yeah.
sweaty? Is this a comedy term? I don't know.
Just a bit like effortful. It felt a bit
Like they're
effortful.
sweating it too much.
Yeah, like
I
it just
get
felt
you.
a bit like, I don't know.
It felt very written. You were kind of
Yeah.
watching them. It felt very written. Yeah.
I felt like they were really going like, I felt like they assumed I was going to be like, oh my God, yeah. Oh my God, that's so true. But instead I just was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and again, you saw it coming a mile away.
It was a bit forced, and I think they also tried to shoehorn this whole thing into one episode because they're like, okay, Seema and her boyfriend broke up last episode now, which I don't think we ever really even needed to see. And now they're like, no, Seema's been dating loads, but they show us them all back to back to back to back.
Yeah,
You're right.
That
yeah,
it just
little
felt
montage,
like, what am I watching? And then...
Do you think that the matchmaker is coming back again? I have a feeling she's coming back. I don't think that's it. What do you think?
I don't know. It just felt a bit of a trite message, like, don't change yourself for a man. It's like, okay, we know that. Like, I don't know
The
what
minute
the
she
message
said,
was.
you wear too many animal prints, I was like, okay, she's going to wear pastels, and she's going to say, I'm going to be myself. You know, I get this. Okay. It would have been
though I
more
like
interesting
the,
if- It would have been more interesting if she'd worn pastels and actually had a great time and been like, oh, maybe you were right. That would have been more interesting.
It would have been interesting. And I think, like, I'm pretty sure we've all sat across boardrooms, tables, bars, whatever, from men who, like, really genuinely and women just want to talk about themselves. And Seema did demurely listen to him for the whole episode. So in fairness, it was kind of mean at the end of her to say,
Yeah.
you know, he was given a floor. He took it. He's really boring. But at the same time, I like the idea that she said, actually, I've been kind of pretending, and then he just completely disappeared. Like, that's quite funny. But again, the show doesn't let it breathe. It's over and done with now. We're on to the next thing.
It was very rushed, yeah.
It's too rushed.
We barely saw her pretend in the pearls before she was ripping them off her neck.
Exactly.
I like the idea that matchmaker's long con is going around stealing desserts.
She's just really into tiramisu.
Yeah, which is so gross. If someone ordered me a tiramisu, I would get up and walk, like, to be honest.
I love tiramisu. That was the only part of the episode. I was like, fuck you, Seema. Tiramisus are great. I'll take it. I love a tiramisu.
Also, I refuse to believe that man would have gone on a date with a woman his own age.
Yeah.
So, though I did like when the woman said you're 55, but you passed for 49 because you've got great skin. I did enjoy that. So, on to the final kind of character we're going to stick here. Miranda, who's been getting a lot of flack throughout this season. You may not know Grania for being just completely un-Miranda-ish and nobody recognises her. I feel like by this series standards, Miranda had an okay episode, albeit 50% of her plot was about her watching, like,
It was better. It was better. The scene with her and the, hello, I am from England. I'm from the BBC. The way she said BBC, I just loved. I wish they should use that on the BBC adverts. Welcome to the BBC.
She said,
I thought,
BBC sent me to see why you Americans haven't fixed the world yet.
Oh,
Like, sorry, but nobody in England thinks America's going to fix the world.
American listeners, relax. Just you know what? Just work on yourself for a little bit. We're not expecting anything from you for a while.
I thought they were cute though. I thought they were cute last season. We knew we hoped she was coming back. I thought they were fun. What did you think of her and the essentially the waitress?
I liked that.
Yeah,
because I think
liked
Miranda's new to being identifying as a queer woman. So like last week she slept with a virgin nun, and this week she's trying to sleep with a straight waitress. And I think it's interesting. I was reading a think piece before I come on with you guys, and I now can't say who wrote it, and I'm terribly sorry. But they were saying what Miranda needs is queer friends, because she actually needs the support of the community, because she clearly doesn't know what she's doing.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really well made point. Like even last week when her and Carrie and Charlotte went to a gay bar, and then the second she started talking to someone, Carrie and
They just
Charlotte bolted, which is like not helpful, because then that person turned out not to be interested in her because it was Brady's ex-babysitter. So like Miranda does need a bit of help, but I like that we're watching her explore, because she had jumped straight into a relationship with Che, so we'd never seen her kind of in this space of trying to like it's hard. It's probably really hard actually to identify someone's orientation from like, you know, casual exchange over Love Island or whatever. So, and I like that she was trying to like find out her shifts and make sure that she was, that was fun.
And her being into the show was very like a callback to Jules and Mimi when she was into Jules and Mimi. It felt like it was like, we know this about Miranda, that she's like gets sucked into kind of trashy things like this, and that she will get excited about stuff. It felt authentic to her, at least. Is she still meant to be in an Airbnb though? What the fuck is up with her financial situation? I do not understand why she's now poor. And also, if your best friend is Carrie Bradshaw, who's in this empty house while her weird furniture designing boyfriend, not into furniture, is in Virginia, why are you staying with her? She's like 18,000 rooms. I don't get what's going on with her living situation. I don't know why she's suddenly poor. I don't
think she's poor. What I would imagine is they've sold the place in Brooklyn. We now know Steve lives in a loft with Brady. We got that last week. I'd imagine they split the money and Miranda's like now trying to house hunt. And but why Seema isn't finding her a place
before her? Like, how is she in Airbnb?
I don't know. And why isn't
she used to be a partner in a firm, and the bitch was smart with money.
But now she's an intern.
Now she's an intern. And in Airbnb, it's just.
But also an Airbnb in New York would not be cheap.
Yeah,
so she should be staying with Carrie.
Charlotte and Carrie are like bazillionaires. Oh, how's the Airbnb going, bitch? Bye. It's so fucking weird.
They're so rich. Like, they're astonishingly rich. Miranda, I think, is supposed to be the poor one now. But, she isn't at all poor. She's probably just sold this place in Brooklyn for, like, $4 million. But
that happens from the movies where they started getting ridiculously rich and it became totally unrealistic.
She's the only one with a job. How can she be the poor one when she's the only one with a job?
Charlotte was at her art place with the girl showing her the Instagram. Thank you very much. And we saw about a second of LTW with her documentary people stuff.
Yeah.
So they're working women.
I think LTW's got a rich husband, I think, because I think we all know
he's trying to be a politician. I like LTWs. I find her I like that actress. I like her too. She's so fucking hot. Mm-hmm. And there was one scene last series, and I'm sorry to objectify her, but there was one scene where she was in underwear and I had to like pause it and just stare at her body for like 10 minutes because she's so hot.
Incredible.
And so I'm like, can you just keep her on the show and get her in a bikini because she's just so beautiful.
She's so underutilized.
Yeah, I want more of her.
I think she's a rich husband, though, on the financial point. We know Charlotte inherited that house on the Park Avenue from her ex.
And Harry's rich from Harry's lawyer and stuff.
Carrie's widowed, inherited all Big's money.
And Big was basically like Epstein rich, yeah.
Yeah, so like this reasoning behind the money, but like it's kind of obscene to look at. Like Carrie has like nothing to do but buy a dining table. And look, I would love to live that life, so I'm not judging it. But like that is where we're at. But
we haven't discussed Chekhov's cat as well. That cat's not surviving the season.
That cat, I kept waiting for it to eat poison, and it's terrible. And I'm so sorry to the cat lovers who were listening. I wanted it to eat poison because I wanted something bad to happen to Carrie, which I think is kind of wrong and like maybe shows where I'm at.
I mean, her husband did die.
I don't know why.
And she's stuck with Aiden, who's like jerking off in a truck. And she's like pretending, she's faking masturbation orgasms. Like, things are pretty low for Bradshaw. Things aren't going great.
Yeah, maybe that's terrible of me to wish the cat died, actually. Because I thought
it is a bad name for a cat as well. Being named Shoe is like,
Shoe.
I just find
it's
it
bad.
also.
But back to
the
Miranda.
Whole, whimsical thing about Carrie doesn't make. It's become, I'll tell you what, I love SJP, but this is the SJP influence. This kind of, I'll send you a blank postcard, and I just love this building and the memories and these bricks, and look at the squirrel. It's all very this kind of whimsical thing that SJP is not Carrie. Like, I kind of want her to be smoking cigarettes again and daytime drinking because she's like, fuck it, who gives a shit? And wearing she used to wear like kind of interesting, funky, like household clothes around the house, like boxer shorts and a random top. And I want that kind of messy Carrie back, get her out in the town, get her drunk with Anthony and accidentally ended up at some guy's apartment. You know what I mean?
God, I would
Not
love
this
that.
kind of whimsical prairie smock dressed her. It's too SJP, doesn't suit it. And Carrie would never have a cat, or the cat would, as you say, be dead.
Also, they showed us her fridge when Aiden was there, and I was like, oh, there's food in her fridge. I was disappointed to see food in there. I wanted it to be fully empty, which is how I think her fridge would look.
There were 2 takeout boxes of the classic New York Chinese takeout boxes. Which
That's
true.
true.
I was like, that was something, but I know what you mean. I was like, Carrie's got food in the fridge.
I was like, Carrie's got milk? I guess maybe it's for the cat, but I was disappointed by the milk. But we have to get on to Miranda. So on Miranda, dating, I know you said I'm kind of rooting for her and that woman as well, but I just don't want them to go back to then putting Miranda straight into another relationship again.
Totally agree.
Like, so I'm happy for her to like date this woman from the BBC, but like, okay, and then what? Like, keep us going.
Yeah, this can't just be Steve, but a girl.
Or Shay. Like, there's still not enough sex. I know they took the word sex out of the title, probably for a reason, but this was such a chaste episode.
Yeah, I need her to be fucking.
Maybe she's supposed to be Miranda's like Mr. Big. So maybe she's supposed to be this sort of like will they, won't they long term.
That will pepper out and we'll still get her dicking around trying to bang.
That would work.
I
I
hope
also
so.
still want to see Miranda going back and dating men too, because like to my mind, Miranda's bi.
And I thought that's why they were hinting at her being into that bi show. I thought that's kind of what they were saying. She loves this because it's these people on this show dating both men and women. So I thought she was kind of into that. Do you remember last season where she dated the girl with a really messy apartment?
Oh yeah, and it was like disgusting.
Like that was ridiculous, but that was fun. I was like, yes, more of that. I want her dating kind of real weird fucking people.
Although, can I just
totally
say,
agree.
I know maybe I'm being too hard again, but like when she was hitting on the waitress and she was like, "Oh, speaking of sexy,"
That's my cringe moment of the show. That is I've written it down. You know what else? I wrote that down as my cringe moment of the whole show.
Oh my God.
You know what else is hot? I was going to say, I was like, oh God, this poor, it was like almost like workplace sexual assault. Like this poor waitress was like, I'm just trying to make fucking guacamole, bitch. Like, I'm a mother of 2 kids and this is my job. Things aren't going too great for me. I don't need this like fresh mum lawyer, fucking fresh lesbian trying to hit on me. I was just talking about TV. I felt so bad for her.
It is. You're
more
right.
relaxed way she could have done it. She could have just went, "Oh, hey, listen."
You know what else?
Everyone talk about it.
Oh, it was up there with him licking his hands last week. I hated it.
That's a good cringe moment of the week, actually. What was yours, Grania?
That was it. That like
was yours as
Miranda-
well.
Yeah.
There's a reason we share a podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my God, I love it. It was up there for my cringe moment, but actually at
What
the
was
end,
yours?
my cringe moment was when the gardener said to, the hot gardener said to Carrie, what's your ultimate vision for this space? And she just said, what do you think? And I know you said that kind of as referenced earlier for her, but like to me it was like, God, Carrie's soul has left her body. Like,
Yeah.
that, like she truly has no vision. And then her follow up was, well, I like Liv Tyler's garden.
I know, that was so out of nowhere.
And I don't know if they said this on the official podcast, if they talked about it, but to me that represented like Carrie has lost a sense of self, lack of creativity. Like she's very overwhelmed, and she said something like, I loved everything as it was, but now that's all changed, so I don't know what's coming next. Which I hope means she's going to have sex with Adam. But it was so cringe. I was like, God, Carrie's just like got nothing going on anymore.
Yeah, where's her little quips and kind of, she's meant to be this kind of funny, cute girl, kind of making little jokes back and forth. It's just, I don't know, what do you want? Oh, just kind of like how I was before. I was like, okay, but are they trying to show us that she is not, because she seems depressed. Like she seems just genuinely depressed, like despondent.
I think that the gardener should have responded, "Oh, okay, cool. Well, you are south facing, so
Yeah, exactly. So, I'm thinking we don't have to have perennials, but you tell me. Do you want a stone bottom or some pebbles? Like, what are we thinking? Are you going to garden out here? Are you going to barbecue?
Yeah, a few questions. And also, you live in New York and you have a garden?
I know. And to be fair, when she was first out there in the first scene writing, I was like, that garden is overgrown. She had like 3 tiny feet of space to put her little table on. I was like, Carrie, that thing's going to eat you up if you're not careful. Like,
And it did. And also the chair looked very uncomfortable. I was like, Carrie'd have a bit of a nicer chair than this out there, I think.
Yeah, it
that
was again
my
with
cringe
this
of the
fucking
week.
wrought iron vintage shit that we have to pretend Carrie's always been into that she hasn't been. That started with the movies, with her being like old writers and old envelopes and library books. And I'm like, this is just not who Carrie was, but that's just...
What about the scene when Aidan goes, not to come back on Aidan Watch, but when he goes, ooh, a real live newspaper, I didn't know people read them anymore. It's like, you're in your 50s, you all read newspapers. Like,
I know. I was like, you're the ones keeping them alive, mate. What are you talking about? And she used to write for a paper. He's so mean.
Yeah, I
Why
just
don't you
don't
go
know.
make a fucking table, you useless furniture designer.
I think they keep trying to
Jesus.
make references almost for the audience to be like, look, these guys are old. And it's like, you don't need to tell us that. We know they're in their 50s. Like,
We know.
yeah, we get it. Like, we understand that like 20-year-olds don't buy newspapers, but they do. And like my dad, when he's reading a newspaper, his wife doesn't turn to him and say, oh my God, a newspaper? It's just a normal thing that he does as a man of a certain age.
I'm going to do that next time I see someone. Oh my God, a paper. I can't believe they make them anymore.
Yeah. Ha, 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 ha. And they'll be like, cool, thanks very much for that. So yeah, Aidan Watch is out of control, but I'm actually really sorry we didn't have you on last week, Grania, because I think you need to go back. The whole truck scene is on YouTube.
It's...
Oh, I mean,
you
I've
have to
just
watch
seen
the
a
whole
still
episode, but-
where it looks like he's licking his hand.
Oh yeah,
'cause
that's
he is.
happening. Yeah,
that-
the whole
Yeah.
scene. It's on. I know it's last week and it's not me this week, but I think I'd
We
listened
have
as
to
well.
talk about
It's
it.
just It's one of the most unbearable things I've ever. I'm not someone that cringes easily and watches things through my fingers, all that. I don't mind any stuff like that, but I've not been that uncomfortable in front of a TV show in a lot. That was so horrible. Just thinking about it makes my skin crawl.
It's like it set
Absolutely
women off
disgusting.
across the world because we post stuff on TikTok, right? But like no one ever like engages with it. And I actually couldn't keep up with the comments I was getting on the clip we posted about that on TikTok from just literally women all over the world being like, I muted it, I fast forwarded it, I turned it off. Like, we're so upset by what they've done. Now, I know, like, not everyone loved Aiden as much as I did, but like, everyone's just like, what am I watching? Loads of people are saying I can't watch the show anymore. Like, the commentary is like phenomenal for the show, I think, and I love it. What do you think? What are your predictions, right, Grania? You first, because you haven't seen any of it. Will you watch it again now that you've seen it? Like, do you have ideas of where it's going? Do you care? Are you never going to watch it again?
It felt like I was watching a very expensive nativity play where... And I found it just quite boring. I'm sorry. And that was something you could never accuse the original. And I know we're forgetting the original series happened. But if I just came to this fresh, I would be like, this is so boring. I know none of these characters make any sense. Mm-hmm.
They don't make
it
any
is like
sense.
watching a nativity play. And I don't like any of them. Like, I'm not interested in any of them.
Yeah, that's a fairly good
apart
summary.
From that, apart from that being boring.
Do you think you'll watch it again?
No, I don't.
Okay.
And I thought, oh no, because you know me, I like trashy television, so I was like, oh God, here I go again.
I'm gonna get sucked in,
but
no.
I had to pause it a few times and like
You're
I
one
made
and
myself a
done.
cup of tea.
Same. I actually did. Like, I was taking notes, and I'm the one who wanted to host this mini-series, and even I kept, like, drifting off this episode, and then I kind of pull myself back and rewind again, and I was like, this is bad. Like, I'm taking notes about this shit, and I can't. Like, and it's funny, because a few people I messaged about coming on over the course of the series, because we're going to have different guests every week. A couple of people said to me, like, I'd love to come on, but frankly, I'm not watching it, and, like, I can't bring myself to watch it. And I was like, oh, and these are people I know who love Sex and the City. So, like, another podcaster I messaged said, I don't want to come on for the first time and have an audience hear me just shitting on something.
Well, I hope I speak for some of your listeners who, like myself, I was the opposite. After last week, I watched this episode literally smiling throughout. And I felt so happy, like, okay, this feels like an actual episode of Sex and the City again. This feels like what I've wanted. Was it perfect? No, it wasn't. But much like the characters of this show, I accept it with all its flaws, and I still enjoyed it more than last week. It was a vast, vast improvement for me. So if everyone at home thinking, I didn't think it was that bad, I'm with you. I see you. You're not alone.
Good.
Some of us that are finding the gems in this show. I didn't think it was anywhere near as bad as last week.
Okay,
I
that's great.
way preferred it.
Really quickly, just from a tone point of view, when Charlotte and her friend break into the principal's office and go, oh my God, there's an emergency. And as a joke, he puts on a bulletproof vest. And goes, oh no, is it a school shooter?
I'm so glad you brought this up, Grania. I had this to talk about and I forgot. It's actually, I can't believe they made a joke about school shootings.
Well, as the only American here, I thought it was funny.
Really?
Yeah, we don't. Y'all are way too sensitive about that shit. It's fine. I thought it was funny.
God. I
thought he was one of the highlights of the show. He's quite a big, like, comedic
he's
actor, I
amazing.
realize.
Yeah,
but I thought he was great when he was like, "Oh, let's just have this be Greg's Inappropriate Tuesday and stuff." I thought he was great, and I thought that whole scene was silly, and I thought it was great. I loved it.
Okay, that is interesting to hear your perspective because I was gobsmacked on that one as well. I do have to say, so that's interesting. We also forgot to mention that Kristen Schaal is in this episode, and she's great. I was completely wasted.
She was underused, completely. I thought, oh wow, she'll be great in this, and there's just, as you say, just totally wasted. Totally,
Yeah.
I agree.
It's barely worth cameoing in.
It shows how much money this show has behind it. They have so much money to get all these amazing little. Every side character is a really good actor. Even the farm guy, the garden guy. I forgot what show he's from. A massive
He's from the
show
OC.
Was he in the OC?
He's in a lot of stuff. Yeah, he was Ryan's older brother.
Oh, he was Ryan. Of course he was.
I mean, he's so hot. Like
so
Carrie
hot.
has to hook up with him, or at
They're
least
spending all this money and they're not spending it on writing or editing or directing.
I know, yeah. Like, we're going to see him out in her garden, right? It's a big project. I'm hoping he's there for the 12 episodes, shirtless,
I predict
sweaty.
they will definitely have
12.
sex. I think that's a given.
There's going to be 12
There's 12.
episodes.
Yes, do
And
you know,
I'd watch
Grania,
if there was 24. Justice for Engine. I love it all.
last night I did say to Dave, oh my God, I'm going to have to do this for 12 weeks. I've committed now. I mean, I want to do it, so I'm really excited to do it, but 12
Hey, if
is
you
a
give
lot.
up, I'll take over, sweetie. I will watch this show until I die repeatedly.
I will.
Okay.
And actually, when I'm on my deathbed, I just want it looped. I don't even want
Exactly.
Sex in the City, you know? Do you have any predictions for the season? Like, I think it's not a prediction, it's a hope. Carrie and Aiden break up. Miranda is dating everyone across New York City. Gender, don't care. Anyone and everyone. And Seema gets, to come more to the fore, and we just bench Lisa and Charlotte. Or at least Lisa gets to do something interesting, but we just fully bench Charlotte. That's my hope.
I agree with pretty much everything you've said. I would love it if Charlotte had just any kind of real story, make her get into coke, just have her just you know what I mean, just have something completely off character for her, have her start wearing jeans and no makeup and just be have her become really depressed and be messy and just fuck up and having just have something happen or there is. I'm like, oh my god, Lily. I just get rid of her fucking kids as well.
Yeah,
Kill them if you
get rid
have
of the
to.
kids.
School shooting, I know who can go first. Lily and the fucking other one as well. Get rid of them and Brady while you're at it. I'd be on the shooter's side for the first time in my life. I'm done with those kids. Get rid of them.
Actually, Grania, you missed the episode last season where Charlotte got to get really drunk and then have a hangover. And that was essentially her plot of the season.
That was
and
the
then
entire, it was a 3-episode arc.
and she got
I've
to
had
worry about her
hangovers.
weight.
I've had hangovers that have been 3-episode arcs, so
See, there you
that's
go.
true. Yeah, so there's a Charlotte, God. Anyway, listen, thank you so much for both coming on. Love to have you on. It's lovely to meet you. And Chantal, will you tell us a bit about your podcast for anyone? I think our listeners who are on for this will be very interested in your podcast.
Oh, you would be. They would love it. It's called The Way They Were, and we discuss your favorite celebrity breakups that you never got over. So we've covered so many of the big ones. We've covered Brangelina. We've covered J-Lo and Ben twice. We've covered Queen Victoria. We've done Diana and Charles. We've done loads. We're actually in between seasons now, but we recently launched a Patreon. And on the Patreon, we just did an episode, as you said at the start, Cathy, about the 5 best Sex and the City breakups. And now we're doing The Way They Are, which cover couples that are still together or who separated by death, etc. So there's loads there. Join our Patreon. It's patreon.com/thewaytheywere. And you can find us on socials, everywhere. The Way They Were podcast. There's about, over 100 episodes for you to get through now while we're between seasons.
Amazing. And you did Chris and Gwyneth, which is obviously...
And we did Chris and
the
we did
conscious
Chris.
and
We have
coupling.
amazing guests on. We'd love to have you on, Cathy.
I'd love
We have
to come on.
amazing guests on that bring up a new couple every week. So it's a great... doing Chris and Gwyneth was great, especially now in light of Chris and Dakota being gone.
I need to come on for a fictional movie one because I'm terrible at real ones. But if you ever go down a fictional route...
Oh yeah, well,
I'm your gal.
one of our favorite.
We've done Miss
episodes
Piggy
was-
and Kermit.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I haven't
didn't
heard that
talk about
one.
Oh, it's a good one. Yeah, that was a.
Yeah.
I think was that a live show, Grania?
no, but it felt live. I think
felt
that was
live.
genuinely was one of the most intense. At one stage, I heard myself saying out loud, "I think Miss Piggy needed to go to Paris to edit Vogue to just find herself before she could return to the Muppets on her own terms."
It was.
Were you guys drunk?
It was. I think Grania put more pathos into that episode than the writers of And Just Like That half the 3 seasons. I'll say that.
Oh my God, okay, I need to listen.
We did Lisa Simpson and what was the other guy?
Oh God, the friend's name. I've forgotten his name. You'll have to go look it up. It was so good.
The bully. That also was a very intense.
Yeah, the fan favorites are those
Nelson.
ones. So yeah, there's lots
Wow.
there for your listeners. Get involved.
Okay,
You'll love
brilliant.
it.
Right, and I'll link you guys in the show notes. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank
And I shall be
you.
back next
Oh,
week to
thank
discuss
you.
episode 3.